Hello and welcome to this next session for karate based framework which is used in test automation. So in this session we will kind of see little extension of variable definition, and again it's part of housekeeping activity. So let's get started. Now this is coming from this variable section and we will see this almost entire section. So let's start with def. So def we have seen already, it is to declare a variable and assign a value, maybe int, string, boolean or different types. Now what is text? So text is basically, it is considering whatever you are assigning to a variable, you want to consider it as text and not as a json or anything of that sort. So that will be using this uh, triple quotes, okay, double quotes in three times, between double quotes in three times. So that will be simply considered as text. It is not something you would use commonly, but in some cases you may need to disable karate's default behavior of attempting to parse anything that looks like a json or xml. So it is very rarely used, and I mean it's very straightforward, so don't have any example for that. You can just simply see it here. Now next is table. So what is table? So a simple way to create JSON arrays. Now we can write your entire JSON in your feature file, something like this, or we can keep it as a tabular format, and this will be considered as a JSON. So if you see, this will be the key and this will be the value. So name Bob, age 2, name something, age something. So this one line will be one JSON array entry, and again second entry, third entry, and like that. So for this I have just copied the same thing. Uh, so case one, and everything is just copied, and we will just run it just to see whether it is running. So just only this part will be running, and just I am doing a match here. So basically matching the JSON arrays which are there in the table, and once it is successful, then we will see the next part. All right, so everything successful, and yeah, nothing is printed because it is just a match statement. Okay, now the next part is bit uh, detailed. So I have again I have declared one table. Okay, this is the name of the table, and these are the keys and these are the values. Okay, now this is, let's say, a delivery boy order. So name is this one, quantity is this one, all and all. So these are the set of keys and these are set of values. But now if you see in this particular feedback key, I have a JSON array itself as a value. So this is also supported and this is also allowed. So now this will be considered as this, my order info will be considered as one, two, three, four JSON individual arrays. So what you can do, you can say, simply say karate dot pretty, and you can print the entire table in, basically it's a JSON. And now if you want to access individual key, individual value, so individual uh, key, that is name, quantity, address, feedback, and individual value which is wristwatch to Bandra, Mumbai, and this particular. So you can say my order 0. So my order 0 dot name, my order 0 dot item, my order 0 dot 1 dot item, my order 2 dot item, my order 3 dot item, and like that. So this way you can pass on an array. This example is to show you an array can be passed as a value to this particular key. So let's run it. So first it will print the entire JSON, which is what we want. All right. So the very first time it printed this final my order info, and if you see, key value, key value, key value, and key value, but the value of the uh, fourth array is basically again a JSON array. Now as you can see, my order info 0 dot key, so that is this one, name wristwatch. So this is exactly matching the table. Name, wristwatch, quantity 2, address, bandra. Okay, address bandra, and then again feedback. This is the key, and the value is a JSON array. So this statement, my order info 3 dot detail, will give you the that particular array. So this is a particular array, customer 1, customer 2, and so on. So this is for table. Comment this out. Okay. Now let's see the next one, which is case 2. So this is basically CSV. This is also um, so we have seen table. YAML, we will not say, it is not that much popular. I mean, in the documentation itself, you can see that CSV is not also that popular, but just we will have a look. So YAML is this one, and CSV. So just like YAML, you can occasionally read a need to convert a string which happen to be in CSV form into JSON, and this can be done using the CSV keyword. So let's say you have, let's say, a particular string or a set of strings which are happen to be in a string format, but now which are happen to be in CSV form. Now that has to be converted to JSON, so you can do it using the CSV keyword. CSV keyword bar equal to foo. That means foo will be, entire thing of foo will be converted into this bar, which is a type of JSON, and then you can match it with a proper JSON. So here in the CSV, I have made a small change. So if you see in this example, there were only 2 items per line. So I have added one more item, so name, type, and salary. Okay, so again there are 2 entries here. So that can also be allowed, that is also allowed, because since it is a CSV to JSON conversion, and a CSV file can have n number of columns, so that's why I've considered 3 columns. So I'm converting this foo, which is in the text format, into which is a basically text but CSV format into JSON format using CSV keyword. And then now if you see, I'm comparing exactly name equal to Billy, type equal to LOL, and salary equal to 100. So the same thing I'm comparing. Now same thing also I'm comparing in the second row, and you can compare n number of rows. Now the point to note here, and it is a bit tricky, that in CSV file everything is considered as a string. So even if you mention a number here, which is let's say 100, 200, you have to compare it as a string. Okay, later you can convert it into number separately, but for now you have to compare it as a string only. So let me just run it and to see whether this match is passing or failing. Okay, there are some failures. So there could be some mismatch. Okay, so now the name is different. So if you see, it is salary. So I will just make salary here and salary here. Now it should pass. All right, so successful, no failures, and you see this print case 2 starts. So case 2 starts, and after that it is all passed. Okay, so that is all about CSV. We will see one more, is copy. Now after CSV we have string and JSON. So this is something which is very commonly used, and this we will see in the subsequent sessions, and we will see that in when we are doing actual REST API testing. XML string I don't recommend for now because it is not that popular. We will see this bytes. So bytes is to convert a byte array useful for binary payloads or comparison. So there is an example here you can go through for this bytes example. Also, it is not normally used. Normally we use instead of binary payload, we have most of the time it is a text payload. So not that much important. Then bytes. So yeah, so you can read a text as a PDF file, and maybe you can use it for uploading or whatever. So that is example for bytes. And now let us see the copy. Now bytes and copy. So we will see this copy. So copy is basically kind of a cloning of a particular variable so that it remains as a copy and maybe it can be reutilized. Now we will see this with an example. Now if you see, I have this JSON, let's say my JSON, and I have this key value and key value, and now I will just print it. So it is as simple as that. Now if I want to make a copy of that, and if I say simply like my json3 equal to my json, so what will happen is, because uh, this processing is considered as by reference, um, refer by reference. So that means what will happen is, if you just assign this variable to this variable, and if you make any change into, let's say, in this variable, then because both are basically a reference to a common object, so even if you make a change here, that same will be reflected here. Now that means that it is not a uh, true backup. So for that we have a copy. So what will happen is, when you say my json2 equal to my json, that means a new object will be created and that will be assigned to my json2. Now after this, if you make any change into my json, that will not affect my json2. Okay, so here for example what I've done is, my json3 is basically the same, my json2 is a copy. Now after this assignment, I'm using a keyword called as set is basically used to change the value of json json values, json key values which are you have in your particular json. Now we will see that in later sessions, but it is, for now it is just to set. So my json dot foo, currently it is bar. Instead of that I am saying another space bar. So now what should happen is, the value of foo key in my json should obviously change, but it should also change in my json3, but it should not change in my json2 because it is a copy of my json2. So basically it's a clone. So that means that any changes in this my json2 after this line, that will not affect my json2. So let's just run it. So first time I'm printing my JSON, then my JSON2 and my JSON3. So what should happen? My JSON2 should have foo equal to another bar. My JSON should have foo equal to another bar because I have modified it here. Now my JSON2 basically it's a carbon copy, so it should be the same, exactly same as this one. And my JSON3 is copy of my JSON. So let's see one by one. Okay, case 3 starts. So my json final value is the first initially it was foo equal to bar, and then now next time after update it has become another foo equal to another bar. And now if you see my json 2, because it's a clone, foo equal to bar, so it did not change its value. Basically it's a clone or a copy of original object. And if you see my json3, which is basically not a copy, it is just the assignment of one variable to another variable, so that did actually change. Okay, so that is for copy. Okay, so this particular line is done, almost done, and in the subsequent session we will see another list of keywords and how it can be utilized. Thank you.